Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. I'm all for political correctness for the most part, but I'm a little bothered by what is happening in baseball and basketball on some levels, although my opinions might be the reason they're taking action. The disabled list, or DL, has been around baseball as long as I can remember, even though I understand why some groups are opposed to the word disabled. But now the NBA is taking out the word owner when referring to the people who have invested up to billions of dollars to control the team. I realize I've been white all my life, but I can't imagine anybody who thinks that Dan Gilbert or Mark Cuban and their cohorts in the NBA link the words basketball team owners with slavery. If you really want equality in the NBA, have the players held up to the same standards as the team. Owners right now cannot collude before the free agency begins. Make the players play by the same rules. Bud Shaw is here tonight. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into our 23rd year, soon to be 24, and seen exclusively on cleveland.com. As Bud Shaw is with us tonight, as he is most Tuesday nights. What do you think about that? I can't use the word owner.
I thought it was fictitious. I thought you were making something up.
No, you weren't.
It's hard to believe that they. I mean, they're going. So. Who are they going to stop from calling Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert?
I believe Adam Silver.
Is he going to stop me from saying that, or you from saying that, or someone from writing that?
Well, he can't stop you from doing it.
They're just in their official
where it
NBA,
says the listing of the...
It's going to say what? Custodian?
Controller. Controller's worse.
Is that, yeah, really? That's supposed to be better?
All right, how about the guy who signs the checks? How about that? I understand there's sensitivity involved in this and all, but I can't believe, other than Draymond Green, I can't believe anybody believes that owner in the NBA...
Is he the one that is saying it?
He's a spokesperson. He seems to be coming out front.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Okay. 216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Bud Shaw with us tomorrow night. Jim Ingram. Thursday night, the D-Man, Dennis Manilow. So, let's get going with, we got lots to talk about. Indians on a roll here. I don't care who they're playing, right?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, first of all,
those teams
it's not
are
like
terrible.
they're just beating up bad teams. They won series against Minnesota. They won a series against Boston. They won a series against the Yankees. So they've been playing well for a longer period of time than this soft spot in the schedule.
All right, so is that your opening commentary, or do you have one that you're going to ad-lib off that screen?
I'm going to ad-lib one off that screen looking at those words right there, as long as they don't move too fast. Okay?
Do it.
Well, now, you might have thought we'd learn a lesson after the Indians lost two starting pitchers in September and still made it to the Game 7 of the World Series, or when they impossibly won 22 straight the next season. But neither stopped us from looking at the Twins' 11-game lead and declaring it insurmountable, or at least me. That lead is now down to 7.5, and while still healthy, the way the Indians have gone about cutting into it suggests a pennant race could lie ahead. One big reason is jason-kipnis, who has slow-pitch softball numbers over his last 10 games. If Jose-Ramirez joins the renaissance, a vulnerable lineup looks a lot better. There could be no worse PR move than to trade off assets like Trevor-Bauer and Brad Hand if the Indians are pressing the Twins through the end of July. The Indians may not add to the roster if they're a handful of games behind at the trade deadline, but they can't subtract. Can they? Can they, Les?
No, they can't, Bud, but they the previous 10 games, I looked at that schedule for 6 against Detroit and 4 against, who was that? Against, I forget who it was.
Oh, they played Texas prior to that.
Texas, they had 4 on the road.
Yeah.
And I said if they win 8 of 10, they're right back in the hunt, because I assumed Minnesota was not going to go 8 and 10, and that's exactly what's happened.
Someone who looks a lot like you and sits in that seat
Yep.
has said that historically this ownership does not add to the team if they're 5 games behind.
Correct.
They need to be 5 games ahead.
Or 3.
They're not going to do it if they're just to chase a wild card, I don't think.
No, nor should they.
But I think there's a big difference between going out and adding payroll and taking at-bats away from maybe a young player who's shown a lot of promise than there is suddenly, selling off. There is a gray area in between, and that's called keep this lineup as it is now.
Right.
And if that's the lineup that has helped you chase down the Twins, are you going to tell me you can't chase them down and win the division if Kluber comes back and Clevinger comes back?
And I'm going to tell you one more thing that adds to the equation that's different than years past when you correctly said that I said they don't throw the hammer down until they're ahead. And that is, if they thought and the audience is probably tired of hearing it because I think I've said it every night for the last week, that if you thought Minnesota wasn't ready, and nobody really thought they were ready, they just got unbelievable hitting, right? But I would assume they'll go back to the mean either this year or next year, and if that's the case, why would you sell off Hand and Bauer when you can win next year if you're basically going against the same competition?
I guess you have to ask yourself, are we a team that can win a world championship and not just beat the Minnesota Twins?
No, they can't.
So,
but I don't know why that's the question.
Well, why
because
wouldn't it
while
be the
I
question?
while I say no, they can't, I'm also saying, yeah, but unlike basketball or football, where the bottom teams in the playoffs could win, probably couldn't win, baseball could.
Yeah, but do you keep everything the same and pass up what could be franchise enriching deals for Brad Hand and Trevor-Bauer to say, well, anything can happen in the playoffs? I mean, I don't know that you do that. You have to see.
Are you saying,
I think you have to see the components that you were counting on to win a division and to go deep into October. You have to see Jose-Ramirez turn it around for good. You have to see Kipnis keep doing this for more than 10 games. You have to see Clevinger come back and Kluber come back and show that they're.
What, because the Columbus trio can't keep doing it?
I don't think.
I don't
would
think
you
they
bet?
can either.
Yeah, I mean, would you bet on them? Would you bet on Jake Bowers?
No, but I would say
Mercado, Bobby Bradley.
But I think I would say Plesac.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All
right, so you mentioned Ramirez, and it's so enticing to see the way when he does hit what it does. And then you said softball numbers for Jason-Kipnis. Let's put them up there and show what we're talking about. Jason-Kipnis in the last 9 games has been incredible. 16 of 34, hitting .470, 4 homers and 14 RBIs, 8 runs scored, and of course the walk-off home run. Did you see the walk-off home run last night?
Yes.
Am I seeing things, or was that a non-exciting walk-off home run?
Well,
I mean,
in
the team didn't seem as excited as we've seen them.
Huh. Well, I didn't really get that from it, but I wondered if I thought you were talking about maybe the crowd. And just
no, because the 2.5-hour rain delay plus extra innings.
Yeah.
I'm surprised anybody was there at all. All right, so Kipnis took himself to Twitter today. Let's see what he had to say. Need some new haters. The old ones are starting to like me. Now that's cool.
Yeah,
it really is.
He's a funny guy,
and
I've liked him, and I like him as a player, and I know there hasn't been a lot to like over the last few years.
Right.
But if he can, I felt going into the season that he was going to be a real big part of this because they had traded away so much offense.
He's the veteran guy.
They needed him to play like he has. He's not going to keep this up, what he's done over the last 10 games.
No, but it's nice to know he's a threat.
Yeah.
All right, so Toledo Mike emails us today. Les, I'm amazed at Kipnis' new hitting prowess. He is trying very hard to level swing, adjusting his grip, probably aligning the fighting knuckles and holding his bat low. Is this a little bit of the Charlie Lau school of baseball
That's
hitting?
beyond me. You're the baseball guy.
Well, Charlie Lau
I
is
remember
a name
who Charlie Lau was.
Yeah,
he was a longtime Royals
terrible hitter.
Hitting coach when George Brett was there.
Yeah,
and,
in the 80s.
Yeah.
Terrible hitter, but a great hitting coach.
But I don't really I don't know enough to know what his theory of hitting is.
I can see why Toledo Mike says it. The way Kipnis holds his bat down across the shoulder tries to make him drive into the ball, hit it to the opposite field. When he hits it to the opposite field, there's nobody over there to make that play. He's got a lot of room over there, and if he keeps doing that, maybe they'll move back to the regular shift, and then he can hit normally.
And listen, Ramirez is hitting now. And you may have numbers to show for him too, but I think he's hitting .217, which is is a high for him this season, believe it or not. And I know it's not much to look at on the scoreboard, but when he was hitting 195, we know that he's at least on the uptick, whether that lasts or not. He still pops up way too often. Pitches that I think he's going to drive, deep into the outfield or off the wall or out of the park. He seems to still be getting under those.
All right, we got a couple of things we want to look at tonight. One is the All-Star game coming up in Cleveland, and they've named the celebrity All-Star softball players.
Are you in it?
No, we're going to see how many people you know.
Huh.
We're also going to check a study made by Emory University about the Browns fan base. I think you're going to be surprised, maybe surprised by that.
I saw that number. I didn't quite see what they were basing it on.
Nor do I know that either. But it's not a high number, surprisingly enough. So when we come back, we'll have one study on the Browns fan base. We'll take a look at the All-Star softball. And Carlos-Santana has agreed to be in the home run derby.
I think that's great.
It is. It won't change his swing that much.
I don't believe.
You don't believe that that's ever happened?
It may have happened somewhere along the way.
Yeah, to one guy.
Yeah, I just don't think that in general that's an issue.
You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. We got some Facebook responses today. We'll check out that and more. Bud Shaw with us. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's check out birthdays for today. Willis Reed, who, of course, the famous walk-in limping event in the, what was that, 1973 maybe?
Sounds about right.
When he was injured but came out. Lauren Order, 1947. Bill Curry, did they have any kids who could play the game?
No, none that I know of.
Steph and Seth, pretty good. Dikembe Mutombo, Carlos Delgado, and Aramis Ramirez, all celebrating birthdays on the 25th of June. 216-575-0403. Michael Lewis of Emory University, that's in Atlanta. You worked in Atlanta at one time.
I did.
So this is an eminent university. This is not.
Yes.
This
yeah.
is not.
Emory has a very good reputation.
Yes, they do. Well, Michael Lewis has devised a study that checks out fan bases in the NFL, and I don't know what it's based on, but he rates them 27th. Now, a couple of things. The team left after the 95 season, came back for 99, and has been horrible. 2 playoff appearances since 1999. So here you have Dallas number 1, New England number 2. Well, of course, Dallas doesn't win all the time, but New England does. Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. By the way, as an aside, my brother was down in Texas last week, going to see an Indians game with a couple of cousins of ours, and he's looking at Jerry's World. Mm-hmm. He said, as big as it looks on TV and as big as you think it is, double it, and you're getting closer to how big it really is.
It can be seen from space, basically. I don't, without knowing what are they talking about? Are they talking about, capacity crowds?
No, what they're really,
there was a time when the Browns weren't You know
they
what
weren't very high.
what that stadium looked like.
Also, traveling. For example, we know how Pittsburgh fills up Cleveland, what was Cleveland Brown Stadium, now First Energy. Do we ever think that Pittsburgh gets filled up by Cleveland fans? There's got to be 1,000 Browns fans at a game in Pittsburgh.
Well, you know, I think it probably just all comes back to how bad they've been for that long, because this is a really good fan base, and I wouldn't.
And you're going to find that out again this year.
Yeah, I mean, if they mean travel well, I think you'll see more people going to away games as long as it's not West Coast.
Yeah, and I also
wanting
think
to see Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, those
Right.
kind of players.
I also think that you're going to find out that it's not only good, but it's better than we ever thought, because I can't imagine any city with a football franchise that would go 20 years as bad as the Browns have been and be there at all, let alone high on the list.
Yeah, we're going to investigate that a little more and find out.
We are?
If they have the Atlanta Falcons ahead of the Cleveland Browns.
That's not right.
We're going to know
Can we
that's
put that
wrong.
up again just to take a look at it? You got the top 5 and then
Who's
Cleveland.
the worst? Who's worse than them?
Probably Tampa Bay. Probably, what else? Who else would be worse than them?
I don't know. Would you consider Arizona? Would you consider
Probably Arizona.
Arizona.
We'll find out during the break.
All right. You're going to get the crack staff on that?
Well, we got to wake up Brian. He's back from his honeymoon. So we got to wake him up, shake him up a little bit,
Shake him up.
See if he could tell us the bottom 5 on that list. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. Of course, near the end of the show, we will take a look at some quickies that have come in and other emails. I want to talk about the over-under in basketball wins, and I don't know, we'll do that in the next segment maybe. But the question is, how can you even determine how a team will do when you have free agency hasn't even begun?
Yeah, it's a little hard to.
However, you have some potential free agency news.
Oh, there's just a report out that the Cavs will part ways with J.R. Smith, and when they do, he will find his way to, surprise, surprise, the L.A. Lakers.
Wow. D'Angelo
Where they have
Russell.
a guy named LeBron James out there.
Now, don't forget, the free agency period is not open up. That would be tampering at this moment.
Yes.
So we are not suggesting
We're not
anything
suggesting
like that.
at all. It's another week before that.
However, it looks like the Lakers are also talking to D'Angelo Russell. If that happens, how good does that make those guys?
Well, you know, he's really turned his career around, I think, and had a fantastic season. It would really help them a lot, obviously, and they would have 3 players that, you know, offensively would be almost unstoppable.
Right.
There's a lot more that goes into building teams, as we know, and one of the reasons why Toronto won this year is because they were so stifling on defense at times.
A little bit later, we'll check out the over-unders as projected by FanDuel and see what they have to say about this upcoming season. I got to say, I don't know how you know when you don't even know what the team's
I think you
roster
could
will look
predict
like.
that the Cavs will have one of the lower over-unders.
Perhaps, sort of like the fan base of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that one you can say, that probably doesn't matter what happens in free agency.
That's a good point. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You can catch the excitement of live racing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday with a post time of 6 p.m., but they're open at noon every day for simulcast action all over the world, and the weekly Sunday handicapping contest. Top prize $500 cash each week. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. We've got a Facebook question of the day, which we will get to when we get back. Bud Shaw is with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
My basement was a disaster. We tried carpet, we tried tile on our uneven basement floor, but nothing worked.
Moisture, dampness, even flooding will not harm Nature Stone. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of June and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Time for a How Come Quickie. Bud, how come if bases were 91 feet apart instead of 90, there would not be as many bang-bang plays at first base?
They're called quickies, sir.
You know, I've been doing quickies since 1989. Are you aware of that?
They should not require math.
No, but
Okay.
you when you start using names of people, you realize that some people don't know names that you and I are quite familiar with and know who they are for the most part. So I had a quickie last night. How come if Peekaboo Street donated money to a hospital, it would be known as the Peekaboo ICU?
Can I?
But a lot who people said, who is Peekaboo Street? Don't you think that's a name most people in America would know?
What Olympics was Peekaboo Street in?
The Winters. the Winter Olympics.
1936? No, I'm kidding.
She and Jesse Owens shared space.
Yeah, I guess we just maybe we have we're a little disillusioned about what is current and what
I'll tell you
relatively famous.
I'll tell you what is the perfect example of that, Bud. As middle-aged people, if I wasn't, I'd be able to find it.
Yeah, that's
all right, here
being
you
generous.
go. I have here in my hand. I'm going to use a reference. As Senator Joe McCarthy. Is that a dated reference?
But that's pretty historically known, right?
Yeah. So according to one movie that I saw about Senator McCarthy.
Winter Olympics are sort of marginal, kind of. Don't you think?
Not here. I think it gets
But
as
people
much.
they only pay attention to them for about 2 weeks every 4 years.
That's true.
So,
That's
but go
true.
ahead.
All right, so here you got the Cleveland against the world in the Celebrity All-Star Game around the All-Star break. You count on your hands, maybe just one, who you actually heard of and could say something about them.
Okay.
Johnny Bananas.
Hits all fields.
Yeah, he, of course.
Okay.
On the MTV Challenge. Stephanie Beatriz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Steph, I call her.
You're going to know this one. Simone Biles.
Yes.
Who is she?
Well, Simone Biles is the greatest gymnast in the history of gymnastics.
How about Drew Carey?
Yeah, I've heard of Drew Carey.
Clevelander, comedian.
Yeah.
Priah, P-R-I-A-H, Ferguson.
No idea. I'm sorry.
Jenny Finch.
Jenny Finch is a great softball player.
Right. Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is a terrific actor, comedian.
Academy Award winner. Max Greenfield.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the New Girl. Travis Kelce.
Of course we know Travis Kelce.
Kansas City. Tight end for
Yeah.
the Chiefs, of course,
Yeah.
from Cleveland Heights High
Cleveland
School.
Heights.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Allie LaForce.
Oh, yeah. Allie was here. Very talented person.
Jerry Lorenzo.
Sorry on that one.
He's a sneaker designer.
Huh. Unless he's designing retro Chuck Taylor Converse, I probably don't know him.
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie was
Yeah.
an athlete, right? Like
No.
No, sorry about
No,
that.
you're thinking of Kevin Mackie.
Kevin Mackie.
No,
I'm
he was
thinking
he was in the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna know this one. Steep. Do you know? I won't even give the last name. Stipe.
Stipe Miocic.
Miocic. Everybody knows him. Mike the ms&ll.
He's the guy that, or Stipe's the guy that if there is a brawl, you want to come out of the dugout with him in front of you.
Right, right. How about the Miz?
I've heard of the Miz.
He's a WWE superstar.
Yeah.
Dasha Polanco.
God bless you.
Orange is the New Black. Dr. Oz.
Oh yeah, of course. Dr. Oz is playing in this thing?
Yes. Quincy. I know what you're thinking, but you're
It's
wrong.
It's not Jack Klugman?
It's not Jack Klugman. It's Quincy, who was not even in Quincy.
No, I don't know.
All right, how about this one? You're not going to get this one. Scott Rogowski.
It sounds like someone I should know.
He's a comedian.
Uh-huh.
J.R. Smith.
Of course.
You're not going to know these last two. Colton Underwood.
Matt
Former
in
NFL
relation
player?
to Matt Underwood?
No. Daddy Yankee.
Does he know Joey Bananas?
All right, so you had 11. Mike Bacon, our producer, had 11. And I had 11. But I think 3 of them might have been interchangeable. There was one, 2, or 3 that we knew, one of us knew and the other didn't. Yeah. That's the best we can do.
Well,
that's set up. That's got to be a Fox setup.
We are not the demographic.
No.
Do you remember when Fox was telling its broadcasters years ago that if they mentioned
if they're dead,
a deceased person during a game, that they would be taken off the air?
That's absolutely correct.
That's not what the younger baseball audience that they want to cater to.
No. But they
Is there a younger baseball audience in your mind?
No, I asked somebody that question. I said, do you think 17-year-olds drive around the city doing whatever they do? Do they listen to the games on radio? And I have yet to find anybody who says their kid does.
It's probably
right?
Good. Yeah.
That's not taking a shot at the radio station. I'm just saying the kids don't.
Yeah.
All right, so what they do, here's what they do listen to. The
More-sports-and-les-levine.
The voicemail of truth and reason.
Of course they do.
Let's hear what Ron had to say about that.
Les, this is Ron Bauer. I know you have a concern about first-year head coach Freddie Kitchens. In my opinion, I think he'll do just fine because of one main reason. He has Baker Mayfield, alias Bernie Kosar Jr. Baker's a leader of men, a love and passion for football, and a knowledge and ability to take the ball and make something positive happen. My concern is offensive line. It needs to stay healthy and get the job done.
Well, all right, first of all, I totally agree with him.
Yeah, I think he makes a good point that when Baker came in last year, he had 3 games where he was sacked, I think, 5 times in each game. And once they made the change at left tackle and that line came together, and of course they got rid of the ball quicker, they did some things to help the line. But he was a different quarterback from
Not only
then
did
on.
he not get sacked, he didn't get hit.
Yeah.
And he walked away with clean jersey, clean pants almost every game. 216-575-0403. You, too, can be part of the voicemail of Truth and Reason, and you can do that 24 hours a day. We, of course, are on this show live from 6 until 7 Eastern Time, p.m. But if you want to go on the voicemail, you can call 216-200-6650. Call anytime and leave a message. Try to keep them brief, not much longer than what Ron did just a moment ago. 216-200-6650 is the number to call. We'll come back. We'll listen to Sheldrick-Redwine. He is not one of the softball players, celebrities.
But he should be.
But at this moment, he is a member of the Cleveland Browns. We'll come back in a moment with Bud Shaw. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
I feel my biggest area of improvement been, really just getting a feel for the difference of the strength of the game, going on against, bigger guys, bigger tight ends, so really just, getting used to the strength of the game, just coming out here during the off season. Not the off season, but during our training, just lifting heavy, just feeling myself get stronger really to prepare for the season.
How much different is what the Browns are having you do than what you did at Miami?
Not much difference, learning both safety positions. I knew both safety positions at Miami, so it's really at the end of the day, it's all football. It's only so much stuff you can do, so just learning everything possible.
Do you like the defense the way it appears it's going to be under Coach Will?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like he put everybody in great positions to make plays. That's something he heavily emphasized. He wants us to score touchdowns on defense.
What's been the biggest thing that you've kind of taken away from this? The biggest thing you've learned just from mini camps and OTAs?
Just learn the game of football. It's a whole nother level from college. You get attacked in different ways than college. From being at Miami, we've seen a lot of spread open stuff. But now coming to the NFL, it's a lot of more heavy, a lot of heavier formations. So just adjusting to that. Just learning how everything really moves. Within each formation.
How much special teams have you gotten to know so far?
I've been doing a lot of special teams, talking extra with the special teams coach, just trying to learn everything possible. That's being a young guy coming in, that's mainly what you should focus on, to get on the field as early as possible.
You're in an interesting room because there's like 3 guys who have, played a lot in the NFL with Randall and Burnett and Murray. What has it been like for you with those guys? Have you been able to pick their brains and learn a lot from them?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just seeing what those guys know, their experience. I just seeing how they move on the field. Really, you can tell that they just know a lot more. They can something that they see. They trusting it and they're going right away. So I talk a lot to Morgan-Burnett. He like a 10-year vet. So just trying to see what he knows. He always pulls me to the side. Tell me little stuff. To help me. So it's been great. Really, those guys taking me under their wing. Just really trying to help me.
Have you been? What's it been like for you to see a guy like Javonte out here making plays, an undrafted guy?
Oh man,
just getting shot after shot.
Man, it's great. He was my neighbor. In college. Where we stayed. So we had a good connection. Even from high school. I played against. I always mess with him. We played against each other. When we were little and high school. And now we played together in college and come on this stage and be able to play with each other. Just seeing him make plays. It's really satisfying for me too. Just seeing somebody who I grew up with. And just having the underdog story. Undrafted free agent guy. Coming out here and just making plays. Making plays on the ball. Getting better. So it's really been satisfying to me. And I tell them every day. Is because consistency is the biggest thing. Really. You got to do it every day.
Now, Bud, you would notice something like this when these young guys come here. The rookies come here. They can't. Somebody asks them, "Can we interview you?" And they're thrilled. And they stay forever. At some point, that same interview would have been cut short by about 3 minutes. This guy says, I got to go now. I got to be in the locker room.
They start looking around. They start checking their watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but one place the Browns, well, a couple places that the Browns have some depth would be the safety position, and Redwine is part of it. And I think that they're in pretty good hands there. Here you see the Browns roster safety depth. You've got the Morgan-Burnett, sounds like a stock company, right? I'll trade some of my IRA today. Damarious-Randall, Eric Murray, Jermaine-Whitehead, and of course Sheldrick-Redwine. You need depth there.
Yeah, I still think that they're going to miss Jabril Peppers. I know it became sort of a joke that he's playing in another area
Not
code.
his fault.
It wasn't his fault. I thought he played pretty well last year, and I think they're going to miss him. I think he was a talented player.
Well, not to harp on last year, what did surprise me, though, is he did catch the ball on punts, but he didn't get much yardage.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in that. I'm not sure what was going on with their special teams, whether that was a reflection of that team's or him.
Right. Well, again, there's depth at that position. Where else is there depth? There's not depth at the linebacker position.
No, I think that that's still a little vulnerable. I know they added some guys in the draft that they like, but they're obviously very good at corner. If those two guys can tackle and stay healthy, I think that'll be a big plus. And I think you have to look at, even though we won't see the depth for the first half of the season, if they keep Duke Johnson around, that's a pretty good running back core too.
All right, let's
Kareem
take a
Hunt.
look at that Facebook question of the day and see what happened. An Emory University study ranked the Browns fan base number 27. If that's correct, what happened? Aaron Woods says, I think the Browns should be ranked higher than that. There's great support for the Browns. I think it's one of the best. Rick May says the last 20 years tested the true Browns fans' loyalty. Hopefully this will be the year things turn around. Even at 27th, I'm betting we're still ranked higher than Emory University's fan base. Wow. Dennis Davis, the Browns fans have been beaten down for 20 years. It'll start getting better this year and start to move higher. And Bud, you asked the good question here, being the great journalist that you are.
Yeah.
You said, if the Browns are there, who's the bottom five? All right, they've got Cincinnati 28, Jacksonville 29, Tennessee 30, Kansas City Chiefs 31. I don't know.
That's the one
that
that just jumps off the screen to me.
And the Rams.
I get the Rams. I understand Tennessee, Jacksonville, and Cincinnati. The Kansas City Chiefs, that's a terrific sports fan base out there. I've known it from going to see games there. I went there back when Montana was playing.
Finishing out
I
his
worked
career.
in San Diego for a few years and went into Kansas City and Denver for those games. And I've always thought that was a great fan
According
base.
to that study, the Chargers in Los Angeles do better than the Rams do.
Yeah, I could see that in a way, because at least the Chargers had a fan base that knew the players and came and was, they don't travel from San Diego to L.A. I understand that, but those northern counties of San Diego.
Yeah, but the Rams were the traditional team that was stolen from Cleveland back in 1945.
Years ago.
Different story.
Yes,
but
years ago when Peekaboo Street was still skiing.
Right. Or whatever she was doing. Now that I think about it, we have to preface that a little bit later. 216-575-0403 is the number. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. Sokolowski's University Inn, no place better than that. That's number one on any list, Bud, including the James Beard Foundation Award, the prestigious award given only to 5 restaurants each and every year. And Sokolowski's the only Cleveland representative on that list. Family-owned and operated restaurant. It's Cleveland's oldest, starting in 1923, when Mike and Bernie's grandparents started the whole thing. 5 minutes out of downtown, take the Abbey Avenue exit. Out of downtown Cleveland, that's where you're going to find Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. 216-575-0403. When we get back, we'll take a look at the projected win level for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, I'm just setting it up. How do they know who's going to be on the team?
This team?
No, they know who is going to be on the Cavs team. How are they going to know the top teams?
Yeah, until you find out where Kawhi Leonard's going to go, it seems like a moot point.
All right, we'll talk about that when we get back. More Sports and Les-Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
My basement was a disaster. We tried carpet, we tried tile on our uneven basement floor, but nothing worked.
Moisture, dampness, even flooding will not harm Nature Stone. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of June and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at jason-kipnis.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. June 25th, 1994, the Indians' 18-game home winning streak comes to an end at Jacobs Field. It wouldn't matter, though, as the season also came to an end due to the work stoppage that began just a couple of weeks later on August the 12th. Now we move on to this date in Les-Levine history. 1983, Bud. Les coached his son's 9-year-old softball team. The eighth batter, or his parents, were upset that the kid was batting so low in the lineup, so Les explained it was a new position called second cleanup.
I like that.
Even though it's spelled incorrectly, but it's second, my fault. I'll take the hit for misspelling that, but it's second cleanup, and they fell for it.
I like it.
What they fell for is the way
you just gave that position a new brand name, that's all. It was a rebranding, and it was
They did
genius.
DH, they made up a position DH.
It was genius. It's number 5, what, number 4 would be, number 5 would be second. Could that be second leadoff?
It would be just behind the. It could be second leadoff or just behind the cleanup hitter.
I like it.
If the cleanup hitter didn't clean up totally, there was some left over. All right, so we wanted to know what the Emory University guy, what he did with how he determined where people were. The Browns 27th. All right, number 1 is equity. That means the box office revenue, right? And other types of revenue.
He called them all equity. He was calling the box office kind of this financial or home equity.
Right.
How many people were going to games and what they were spending. And we all know that the Browns for a long time weren't even, they had like the lowest ticket prices in the league, right?
And Atlanta had the lowest concession stand prices. Didn't they keep them with like
I
items
don't know if
or
they
a
did
dollar
that. Then
or
they
two?
did something on social media, what the equity was on social
Right.
media for these teams. Which you could imagine if you go through as many losing seasons as they have, that you're not the biggest, you don't have
I'm calling out the bogus.
5
I'm calling
million
out
Twitter followers. And then the third was road equity, where fans spent, as you pointed out, were they spending to go on the road to watch their team.
Right.
And
Well,
when
that-
you
a lot
do
of
that
that has
during a 1 in 15 and 0 in 16 season,
And a
why
lot
would
of it
you?
has to do with location. If you're in Arizona, you're not going to go to New York City.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably, I don't know this, but they probably limited it to, division games, where regionally at least.
All right, we mentioned the Cavaliers and what people think in Vegas about wins, overs, and unders. He had, as you know, they had 19 wins last year.
Yes.
Do you think, well, we just put it up. Right now, this
Wow.
is FanDuel.
Give them more.
No, yeah, that's right. They had 19, and they now say the over-under is 23 and a half. Then you got Phoenix, you've got Chicago, Washington, Memphis, and New York. That's the Knicks there. I'm surprised they would put the Knicks. Knicks also had 19 wins. They're going to improve by 10 games.
That's hard to believe.
All right, what do you think the top is? What team?
Well, I would think the top is either Milwaukee or Toronto.
All right, Milwaukee is 55 and a half. Guess what's second? Los Angeles Lakers.
Really?
At 54 and a half, and the Houston
I would
Rockets.
take the under there.
You would. And the Rockets at 52 and a half. Then you go down, just throwing out some numbers here. Boston Celtics 45 and a half. Golden State Warriors, what do you think they are?
Well, since I know where you are on the list, I'll say it's probably at 44 or 43.
46 and a half.
Huh.
The Thunder 45 and a half.
I think the thing that's going to be interesting, Les, is that's going to be a really hard thing for people to bet, because you could look at the Lakers and say, wow, look at the star power they have now. But the chances are LeBron James is going to be in 35 years old.
Yeah.
We just came through
Davis
a season
coming off a serious injury.
We just came off a season where Toronto now looks genius for sitting Kawhi Leonard as often as they did during the season when he was it was a healthy scratch. And I think you're going to see more and more teams doing that.
Toronto, by the way, is 52 and a half. Wouldn't you think that...
I would take the under on the Lakers.
Would you think that around the NBA fan bases, speaking of fan bases, that other than LeBron, do you think they care if certain stars don't play that night? A team comes in one time and they're doing, as you say, the rest, the what did you call it?
Well, they called it, like, when Kawhi's case, they called it load management. They were trying not to overburden him during the regular season.
Right. Do you think other than LeBron, do you think anybody would really care?
I do. I think you'd want to see Giannis, for instance.
Okay.
I think you'd want to see Kawhi Leonard now. not the same way LeBron dominated for those few years when, people would circle those dates on their calendar as soon as the schedule came out.
What you've heard of John Beilein, you like, dislike, or don't you even know?
No, I think he's a really good coach. I think every other coach who's ever been around him will say that. They sing his praises. So I like a lot of what he brings to the table. I just wonder how effective it'll all be in the NBA now, as opposed to, coaches being king in college, where what they say goes, and young guys, 18 years old, better listen or they're not going to play.
How do you think these guys will react to Coach Gottlieb, the fifth woman coach in the league?
Yeah, I think that'll be. I don't think that's going to be a big issue.
I don't either. I think it would have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I really do. Now, whether this league is ready to hire a head coach, a female head coach, I don't know about that. But and I think they should at some point, if it's in the near future, if it's a really qualified person, they shouldn't stop them from doing that. But I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think it's, they've seen organizations like Popovich in San Antonio, who's had I believe a female assistant there.
Right. 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, so I think they've seen good organizations do this, and maybe the Cavs aren't necessarily in that category yet, but I think they could get there in a few years.
216-575-0403 if you want to get in before the end of the show. Tomorrow night, Jim Ingram will join us, Dennis Maniloff, the D-Man, on Thursday. The D-Man, very excited last week because you know D-Man as well as anybody in the media.
He's a very excitable guy.
Rocky Colavito, we had him on the air, and he called him the D-Man.
He did.
Yeah. D-Man, of
the
course,
Rock
came up with
called
Dr.
Dennis the D-Man?
Yes, and of course you had Dr. Smooth, named by, credited with naming.
He's not credited, Les.
He did it.
He did it. Named Michael Brantley, so.
Right.
That's
so
great.
that stuck. All right, when we get back, we'll talk a little bit about.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Tomorrow night, Jim Ingram, the great writer, will join us. You see us live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and of course, you can. What can you do? You can chronicle. You can
chronicle the Chronicle.
Chronicle, absolutely.
Sure. You can follow him on the Chronicle.
Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine. Cleveland Bill, a prolific writer tonight, says Peekaboo Street. He's quoting Wikipedia. And you know, they're always right.
Yeah, if it's in Wikipedia,
yeah, it must be.
Right.
Peekaboo Street is an American former World Cup alpine ski racer and Olympic gold medalist. She won the Super G at the '98 Winter Olympics and the downhill at the '96 World Championships, along with 3 other Olympic and World Championship medals.
I think this completely exonerates you, Les.
They should know if it's
only
1996.
21 years ago.
Of course.
An Olympic champion from 21 years ago.
And the name
It's not like we're talking Squaw Valley here, folks. How's that for a reference? Look that up.
Excellent. Cleveland Bill prolifically writes again, how many cities fans would hold an 0-16 parade in sub-freezing temperatures to demand more of their team? Good point. Did you change your mind on that parade?
I never had to change my mind. I thought it was funny from the beginning. And I thought if the organization that rubbed the nose of their fan base in the dirt for 20 years got its nose rubbed for one afternoon, that was fine.
I don't know how Cleveland Bill had time to write all these prolific letters, but he does. They're How Come Quickies. How come the victorious Botox user could not turn her frown upside down?
Okay.
I have no idea what this one means. Read the second one. Do you have any idea?
I'm not going to be
don't
sued.
read it aloud.
I'm not going to be sued for anything, am I?
No, if you don't read it aloud, you won't. But do you have any idea what it means? If so, you can read it.
No.
Okay, I don't either. He must have left a word out or something. How come as teachers' unions get richer, students' scores get poorer? Mr. Gullible, how come I hate peer pressure and you should too?
All right.
Nice. Yeah, write that down. A 9.8?
9.8.
Oh, my goodness.
That's good. See, that takes a concept and gives it just that little twist at the end.
And they are called quickies.
Yes.
How come two physicians in practice together is a paradox?
Okay.
Not a 9.8.
No, that's okay.
But it's there. Do I have my Johnny Carson double take down pretty good?
That's a really dated reference, Les. He's been off the air longer than Peekaboo Street has stopped.
Do you know that I never watched Jay Leno because the first night he replaced Johnny Carson, who had 30 years in the Tonight Show, and Jay Leno made no mention of Johnny Carson.
No mention of him?
No mention of him. However, John Patrick has mention of this. How come I ordered Chinese food and it didn't come with any cookies, which was unfortunate?
Okay.
How come old bricklayers never die? They just throw in the trowel.
See, that's one of those. I think you have to be careful with puns and plays on words.
Why is that?
Like the peer pressure one has no play on words. It's just funny by itself.
Right.
It's not
peer pressure. And you ought to do it also.
Yes.
Toledo Mike says, I heard Tito say last year in his opinion batting averages are down because of the shift. Surely they still teach bunting and hitting to the opposite field in the minors, don't they? That would save Greg Allen's career. They may do it in the minors for certain players, but the sluggers, they don't even bother with it.
I think the shift has been effective because teams don't want to give up, in their mind, give up outs by bunting.
Okay.
So they won't.
They try to hit through the shift?
They try to hit through the shift. And they think if you're hitting a ball hard, it's got a better chance of driving in a run or leading to a rally than it does laying down a bunt, especially if you don't happen to get it down and you get thrown out by the pitcher.
I have the baseball package on Sirius satellite radio. So I listen to guys all over the country. And almost, I won't say to a man because I can't claim they have heard everyone state this, but this position is taken by most of the announcers that I hear. They hate the shift. They'll say there's a hard shot to the right side, right into the shift, and the throw to first. And you can tell from their voices that they don't like the shift. Well, then don't have the guys hit the opposite way and move them over.
We used to give guys credit for being able to handle the bat and being able to go
sure,
to
Rod Carew would have a field day.
Field. And,
updated reference.
So I know some writers who I really respect, baseball writers who think the shift is terrible, that it's really hurt the game.
When Lou Boudreau invented the Boudreau shift on Ted Williams, he was acclaimed as a genius for doing that. Now, Ted Williams was cocky enough that he wasn't going to try to go to left field. But, I mean, for how many years? He did that in 1948. You didn't hear about anybody else shifting until 2000, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not quite, it's probably apples and oranges still, but every batter's tendencies are taken into account when outfielders play where they play, right? You have some guys playing way over in right center. Should they not be allowed to do that?
Because, I don't know. I heard them say...
Should they have to stay in a box in center field, left field, and right field too?
Rob Manfred was saying he would, if it does work out, the suggestions are to have an area that you can't the no-fly zone. Apparently,
You can't go out.
Until the ball's hit. Well, that's stupid.
I just
I
don't
mean,
agree with it.
even from my softball days, if you knew where a guy hit, you moved over.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to move over, hit it the other way.
Yeah. I agree with you on this.
Wow.
How about that, huh?
You have fun tonight?
Is it over?
2 more minutes.
Huh.
I'm just trying to set the stage
Well, up to
here.
now, it's been
I mean,
fun.
what could happen in the last 2 minutes? Nothing ever happens in the last 2 minutes.
Said every
of this
Cleveland
show.
sports team in every big game ever played.
Yeah, especially football when they say 2 minutes remaining. Oh, what do we do now? Well, how about that? You talk about bunting and hitting the opposite way in baseball. How come almost every NFL coach, if you go to their fan bases, they'll say, our guy's terrible at the clock management.
That's why
I should be in demand.
You should be.
I'm gonna widen my stance here. Instead of just waiting for the Browns to call me, I'm opening it up right now to the Central Division, the AFC North.
The AFC North?
Yeah.
Wow.
Next year I'll bring in another AFC team.
Wait a second. What? Can you imagine the look you're going to get from Baker Mayfield if you go to work for the Bengals?
Well, forget the Bengals, but take Pittsburgh or Baltimore. If I'm in charge of the 2-minute warning, I will do something stupid so that the Browns would win.
Oh, you'll be like the Trojan horse. Once you get inside.
That's exactly right.
I like it.
Sort of like, Hugh. He knew how to control the Browns because he was inside it.
Hugh got fired. He was not allowed to go to work for anybody else in the division after that because he'd been fired?
I don't understand that whole saga, that whole 2-year.
No, but I get
the Hugh Jackson experience.
We're learning, we have learned all along that Baker Mayfield, if he doesn't have some chip on his shoulder, he'll contrive one.
Right.
And some of the Michael Jordan, not to compare them, I'm just saying Michael Jordan used to do the same thing.
We got a call last night saying, "Oh, all right, stop it, Baker. You're going to infuriate somebody." Yeah, well, that's what he wants to do.
Apparently,
they're
he
infuriating him, so
Yeah.
So, all right, that'll do it for us. I got to ask you this: Did the Indians overtake Minnesota this year? 7.5 out, 13 games between the two teams.
I'll say no, but I don't have a lot of conviction. I just think it's a long haul to do that. And we still don't know when Kluber's going to be back throwing again. I think Minnesota's lineup is for real. So because of that, I'm going to say no.
Clevinger is pitching on Friday night in Baltimore.
Yes.
That's a good sign.
It's a very good sign. I mean,
because when he went down with he had the back problem, then he went down with turned out to be a sprained ankle. That didn't look good.
No, and we know the velocity is up. We know he's not got any health issues that way.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks to the great Bud Shaw, WKYC.com. Tomorrow night, Jim Ingram. Thursday night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.